but New England has really separated from the rest of the National Football League. They've separated 33-0 over the Jets. But it wasn't about last night. Even the teams in the league, think about this, that we think, Joy, are well run. Like we think Philadelphia is well run. They're 500 since the Super Bowl. And this morning, read the papers in Philadelphia. The franchise is unraveling. Well, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers in his career, the great Aaron Rodgers, is a 500 road quarterback. Is Brady? Well, the New Orleans Saints. How many Super Bowls Drew Brees been to? You're comparing them to New England? Well, the Rams are what? Involved with Todd Gurley's contract, now completely limiting what they can do at that position. Even the well-run teams in this league wake up in the morning at a deficit structurally to New England. They have separated from the league. I mean, think about this. Last night, that game was over before it started. And I said in the last hour of the show, I kind of predicted what was going to happen. It was worse than I thought, but we predicted what's going to happen. But think about this. This week, the Jets had an offensive lineman that refused to practice because he was injured. The Jets fined him. It was all over the papers all week. Do you think that would happen with New York before a game with their biggest rival? I'm told, secondly, that Adam Gase never wanted to hire Greg Williams. They have an icy relationship and don't talk much. Can you imagine if I was forced to hire Joy and we had to fake it on the air that we loved each other and we hated each other? Yeah, that probably wouldn't be good for the show, right? Chemistry would probably struggle. Number 3 is I was told by 2 GMs last year the Jets draft was the worst draft they'd ever seen for a rebuilding team. And oh, by the way, they fired the GM right after the draft. Knowing they were going to fire him, why let him run the draft? You knew months earlier you were getting rid of him. And then last night, they mic their franchise quarterback and allow a network to play it in real time. They also did this to Trevor Siemian, but he's a backup. Sam Darnold, your franchise. You're trying to build confidence. You allow a network to not only, and I'll get to it in a few minutes, but not only to mic him, but then in real time show this during a game. What are you doing against the best secondary of my life? I've said this before. I'm not going to call New England's defense the best ever, although statistically it is. Secondary? If you don't have receivers that can beat the Patriots in one-on-one coverage like a Julio Jones guy, then you have no chance to beat them. You have got to have an Odell Beckham. You've got to have a Julio Jones. You've got to have a guy that can literally beat them down the field. Otherwise, it is over. Listen, I'm not here to apologize for Sam Darnold. He was horrific. He was terrified. They were in his head. That's not about, but that game was over before it started. There are teams in this league. There's about 7 of them. They are at a complete structural disadvantage to teams like New England. Cleveland. Baker Mayfield has to overcome Freddie Kitchens. Washington, the Jets, Cincinnati, Oakland, Miami. Those teams lose before the games start. That's why John Wooden never yelled as UCLA's basketball coach. He'd won the thing structurally before the Bruins started games like back in the 60s and 70s. That thing was over. You got offensive linemen being fined, don't want to play, forced to play. The head coach, defensive coordinator can't stand each other. Sam Darnold's terrified. He's mic'd. They show it in real time. During a team rebuilding during the draft, you knew you were firing the GM. You let him control your draft, and it's the worst draft in a decade. What are you doing? What a mess. You know, we forget these are businesses. Because it's sports, we don't think about them in those terms. These are just businesses. Last night, New England's a well-run business. The Jets are a mess. They're a tire fire. You got controversial stuff happening during the week. The head coach can't stand this guy. What are you doing with Darnold? He was terrible. He was terrified. We said yesterday on the show, Jets have injury-riddled offensive line. They have no receivers that can beat New England's corners. Sam's going to try to overcompensate, and I said make 2 or 3 egregious throws. How did I know it would be 4? I didn't think it would be 33-0, but I thought it was going to be double-digit New England win. But to allow him to be mic'd, your franchise quarterback, and use it in real time, what in the hell are you doing, Jets? Nobody in the Jets front office, nobody in operation raised their hands and said, you guys, he has 16 career NFL starts. This is Belichick and the best secondary of our lives on Monday Night Football. We may not want to allow this to be taped. Nobody raised their hand in the building? It's just incredible. Nobody said, guys, let's do it against Miami. Let's do it on a bye week if we play the Bengals. No, let's do it against the best secondary of all time. What a tire fire of an organization. I feel bad for New York fans. Between the Knicks, the Mets, the Jets, and the Giants, you guys are getting hosed. You are getting hosed by your front offices. Patriots acquire wide receiver Mohamed Sanu from the Falcons. Belichick knows this defense is special, and they're going to go for it. Mohamed Sanu's a big, rangy wide receiver, can play in or out. They tried to draft him. The Patriots did in 2012. He went to Rutgers. You know Belichick loves Rutgers guys. High IQ. They're already on Twitter this morning. LFG. I'll let you figure out what that means. Tom Brady returns. See you soon. He was a star triple option quarterback. Mohamed Sanu is your classic Patriot. But there should have been 8 NFL teams last year. In fact, this morning, there should have been 8 AFC teams that watched that game last night, 33-0 Patriots, and said, oh, hell, we got to add something. And we wake up this morning, and it's the Patriots, who are very good at collecting draft picks and then using them at the perfect time. It's the Patriots off a 33-0 win that adds something. Folks, New England's weapons now, Julian Edelman, best slot receiver in the league, number 1 target. Mohamed Sanu, high IQ, veteran, in or out, big size, your number 2. 2A is Josh Gordon, world-class athlete who tends to get hurt occasionally. He currently is. And now Philip Dorsett can be what he's meant to be, a 4th option. Oh, yeah, they've got the best coach. Oh, yeah, they've got the best clutch quarterback. Oh, yeah, they'll play all their playoff games outside of the Super Bowl at home. And, oh, yeah, they have the deepest running back set in the National Football League, and all of them seemingly great wide receivers, too. Folks, I'm going to say something, and nobody has heard me say this ever. It's over. The AFC is over. Maybe Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, maybe they can beat New England. The AFC's done. The Kansas City Chiefs, really, they couldn't get Jacoby Brissett off the field. They don't do anything well on defense. Last year, they at least got sacks. Now they don't get those. Once Andrew Luck retired with that offensive line and that general manager and coach, the only thing left was Kansas City. And now Mahomes is not and will not be 100% the rest of the year and has no defense and watches more of the game than he plays because of that lack of defense. The AFC is over. Sorry to break your heart. But Andrew Luck and healthy Mahomes with that defense last year were absolutely threats. Kansas City's defense can't get average quarterbacks off the field, and Jacoby Brissett's a nice kid, but he's not Andrew Luck. If you go look at the key quarterback statistics, he's about the 17th best quarterback in the league. That's with a great coach and a great offensive line. And the other thing New England has going for it, they face the 3 perceived threats left in the AFC. They face the Texans, they face the Chiefs, and they face the Ravens in the regular season. So they're going to get a look at Lamar Jackson before they'd have to face Lamar Jackson in Foxborough. They'll get a look at Patrick Mahomes playing at 75% before they'd have to face him in 9 degrees in Foxborough. So they're going to get a practice round against Lamar Jackson and a practice round. And I'm just here to tell you, when New England gets a peak before they have to face you in the big games, you know how it goes. The AFC is over. And it doesn't please me to say that. I know you think I'm a Patriot homer, but I like competition. I loved watching Peyton Manning and Tom Brady go for it. I grew up on Ali Frazier. I like there being real competition. I've said this. I love college football. You got to give me more than Clemson and Alabama. And I love college football, but you got to give me something. And again, I'm into dynasties, but I like them to be challenged. I like them to have to go to a game 6 or a game 7. The AFC is officially over. Closed for business. New England. Hi, Patriot fans. Lived amongst you for 10 years. I'll see you down in Miami, February 2nd. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.